My name is Rob Scholl. I'm a principal analytics specialist here at Oracle. Coming on 8 years, so pretty robust and renowned in the world of analytics. And really today we're trying to showcase what Oracle Analytics Cloud has and utilize some of the augmented analytics that are built in, while also showcasing the AI and ML that are built in with Oracle Analytics Cloud. We're going to go through these features on how to increase report efficiency and speed up your time to delivery, and then also showcase the new Oracle Analytics Assistant, or the OA Assistant. That is driven by a large language learning model that we provide, and it allows an interactive search and report authoring through a chatbot-like interface. All of this today is be going against the Oracle 23 AI Autonomous Data Warehouse. And within today's presentation, I am going to go ahead and review the Oracle Analytics interface, create that connection to our Autonomous Data Warehouse, and then get into the demo where we're going to go through the process, like I said, showcasing natural language query, natural language processing, and also our natural language generation, all while showcasing how authors can build dashboards through our drag and drop capabilities. When we're done with that portion of developing the dashboard and the reports, I'm going to showcase the OAC mobile. We have an analytics app that allows users to not only report, not only consume, but also author reports through mobile devices. And then I want to showcase our podcast feature that is built into our mobile application. So it generates a podcast where users on the go can go ahead and listen to reports on the fly. It generates it through the AI and ML that lives behind in OAC. And once we're done showcasing that, we're going to showcase the art of the possible, right? If some of the attendees here have seen our Gartner bake-off, I have a quick video of a third-party integration that our PMs have showcased within Gartner. And it's really kind of a cool innovation that you can take the next step outside of just OAC, but a partner to build chatbots or build avatars that will read back your reports and analysis. We're done with that. We'll take, as Aaron said, we'll take questions. We do have an introduction to the Code Innovate team in between, but we'll be able to answer questions live if there are any remaining. All right, I want to go ahead and reshare my screen here to my analytics. So on the page right now, of course, we have the Oracle Analytics Cloud. And like I had mentioned within the intro, we want to go ahead and create that connection to our Autonomous Data Warehouse. So I'm going to go ahead and create the connection to our 23 AI. I'm going to say this is our cloud developer session. I have already downloaded the wallet from our ADW, and I'm going to import that here and create our connection with our admin credentials. So we have our connection established to our 23 AI, like I had mentioned. And if we go ahead and take a look at our connection, we have our cloud developer session here. And what I want to do is go ahead and create this connection, or create this data set to start visualizing data within Oracle Analytics Cloud. Specifically, I'm looking at our DV orders, so our data visualization sales order information. And all I'm doing right now is creating this data set, which is a live data set that's connecting to our ADW. Very quickly, we're just going to save this and say Cloud Developer ADW 23 AI. Now that that's been created, to set up some of the AI and NL features, I want to go ahead and look at the actual data set that was created from our 23 AI. And in this case, I want to go ahead and enable the indexing and the search capabilities to really harness and utilize the built-in augmented analytics within OAC. So I want to go ahead and index this for both our natural language query and the Oracle Analytics Assistant that we'll jump into. And for purposes of refining the natural language query and the analytics assistant, I am going to go ahead and create some synonyms for customer segments. So we'll call this all segments, and we'll call this segment. And by creating this synonym, we allow Oracle Analytics to utilize the search capability to narrow down the search. So an end user example would be creating column names or synonyms that the end user wants to ask to make ease of use for this reporting capability to be done. More of a natural query instead of relying entirely on the column name, which in this case, when we're pulling from a database, we have the database names of customer segment, etc. Now that we've saved it, we're going to go ahead and run this index, and we can jump into the Oracle Analytics creation by utilizing the natural language query. FYI for the group that's on today, if stuff is going quick, I do want to highlight, yes, this is all being recorded and the PowerPoint presentation will be available. So you'll be able to reference everything that's going on within this demonstration with the slide deck and with the recording afterwards. I know there's some questions already coming in on speed. So first thing I want to do is, now that we harnessed or created those synonyms, why don't we start searching via natural language query? So what is the sales and profit by city and we'll say all segments. Simply by typing in that question to the Oracle Analytics interface, the system returns a series of visualizations that can be utilized to answer that question. I do highlight the fact that each visualization that has been rendered tries to identify the columns within the data source. And in the first visualization, you can see profit, sales, customer segment, due to our all segment synonym that we put into Oracle Analytics in the data set. And city is being returned within this first visualization. And as we scroll, through the various visuals, you can see it narrows it down to 2 or 3. And then we have profit by customer segment. Ideally, this is a quick way to ask a question of the system. This is not authoring by any means, but a user can take these visualizations that have been generated by Oracle Analytics and jump into the authoring capabilities of Oracle Analytics Cloud. You can see that we've opened our first canvas, and for today's purpose and keeping it consistent, we're going to say this is our natural language query report, because that was rendered by Oracle Analytics Cloud. And even though this visualization has been rendered by the system, the user has the flexibility to change the ordering, change the visualization, modify this to whatever they deem reasonable or desired within the report authoring capability. They can modify the visualization between different types. You can, of course, filter. And in this case, we want to go ahead and just focus on only the profitable cities within this data set. So just by doing keep, we can only focus on what is profitable in this sense. Expanding off of the capabilities of the AI and ML, the augmented pieces within Oracle Analytics Cloud, is we have the ability to explore an individual column within our data set by using this feature called Explain. And what Explain does is Oracle Analytics will take the information or take the column that you selected on and start generating visualizations against that specific column against all the other attributes within your data set or your database. So you can see we're now looking at profit by order line, profit by order priority. And as we scroll down, we can see that we are analyzing profit across all of the attributes within our live database from 23AI. So in this case, we might want to look at how our profit is performing on city, maybe across our various product categories and subcategories. And we'll grab one more based on shipping because we have information on the various cities that we're looking at. By making the selection or the checkbox, we can go ahead and hit add. And what that does is Oracle Analytics creates the second tab, the second workbook that now has the explain profit capabilities or the explain profit visualizations. As rendered in the natural language generation, full use and capabilities by the end user to go ahead and adjust the visualization according to their preference and their need. So you can change the visuals from, a basic line or bar chart to a map. You can change it to a donut chart. If you want, you can even change the coloring or the values that are being brought in. So if we want to look at a categorical name on subcategory for category, we can very quickly bring that in, change the coloring, change the category, or if we want, change the segment. Because even though this was created by the system, Oracle Analytics system, I as the end user, or you as the end user, still have the flexibility to change this according to your need. Any visualization within Oracle Analytics has the ability to be a filter or drive other visuals on the screen. You can utilize multiple visuals if you want. So if we focus on Sacramento in this map, you can see how we're diving into the various details. In this case, not only is the Sacramento filter enabled, but you also can see the technology category filter has been applied. So this is a quick way of diving into the data or diving into the information that the system generated and getting quick insights to a specific column within your database. As an end user that's reporting on this, obviously there's situations where the end user understands their various columns or a specific column that they want to deep dive into to analyze and build a report and visualizations. If, for say, I come into the system and I don't necessarily understand profit or I don't want to focus on profit, Oracle Analytics has a feature called Auto Insights, which will create visualizations across the entire data set as opposed to a single column like the Explain feature has done. So to utilize this and showcase this, we'll create a third canvas and call this our Auto Insights. And let's expand out our Auto Insights tab. And as I showcase this, you'll notice I keep scrolling through the visualizations. Oracle Analytics Cloud is developing more and more visualizations and analyzing more of this data set to render visualizations that I might want to begin reporting on. So again, these visuals I'm not creating. It's the system analyzing the entire cloud developer data set and analyzing each individual column to generate these visualizations. Like the Explain feature, very quickly I have the ability to select any of these visuals and add it to the canvas. I want to highlight this trending dimension visualization because as I make this selection, my year calculation has been created. So the Auto Insights has the ability to create new fields or columns that you would like to report on. And Oracle Analytics essentially created this year calculation by narrowing down our time dimension and pulling it out from order date or ship date. And that way, as we move forward, if we want to filter or build a visual on just a year, as opposed to a specific column within our data set, we have that capability. So for purposes of following the profit explain that we did before, why don't we go ahead, start scrolling through and grabbing some visualizations that can be important to us. So we can get clustered information on our city to see how our cities are performing based on profit. If we keep going down, we can get maybe some top 10 information on our profit based on cities. Where was that? We have discount. Looks like it's going to be a little further down. Top 10 on discount. Quarterly. And as you can see, the system is generating more and more visuals as I continue to scroll down, allowing the user the ability to have more insights on what is going to be generated and allowing the user to speed up this time to delivery that I had mentioned before. So we're just going to grab some profit value based on product category. And when I've made the selections, we can jump back to the main canvas and we can see the visuals that the system created. Again, a series of calculations that can be utilized in additional visuals So if we want to do profit by record and container, very quickly we can add a fifth visualization utilizing the columns that are inherently in your database and any of the columns that the system has generated. So far, we've kind of analyzed the Oracle Analytics by utilizing the AI and ML, the augmented analytics, to build these visualizations. And before we get into the individual capabilities of authoring, let's take a look at the assistant, the Oracle Analytics assistant. So we're going to create a visualization and a tab saying that this is OA assistant. And we jump into the Oracle Analytics Assistant, and now we can have similar feature to the natural language query that we asked in the home page. But in this case, we have the more robust capability of creating many visuals and utilizing them. Instead of just answering a question, we can say, show me sales by segment. If I spelled that correctly, it would probably return the data much more accurately, but in this case, the system went out, utilized the large language learning model, and tried to best render the visualization based on what I asked. So let's do this correctly and say, show me sales by segment. All right, so now that I typed it in correctly, we should see a breakdown of sales by segment. These visualizations, if you want, now can be brought directly to your canvas in the background. So we'll just minimize this real quick. So unlike our natural language query, which only created a single visualization within the authoring when we jump to it, we can go back to our assistant and now further ask some more questions. So let's say, show me sales and profit by order date. And let's say we want to look at it quarterly. So again, this is a situation where I've entered the chat, I've entered the question that I want to be rendered, and Oracle Analytics is going out to the system and generating a visualization. It's identifying the various columns, it's identifying, any filtering that I want, and in this case, if I asked it by quarter instead of quarterly, I think we would get quarter insight instead of daily. So we'll say, show me sales and profit by order, date, quarter. Let's try it now. So in this case, it should return the results based on the quarter information instead of the day information. That's simply the fact that in this case, it seems like the model, the large language learning model, didn't understand the quarterly when our data, if we look at order date, is based on quarter. So in this case, the visualization comparison of sales and profit are returned on our quarterly basis. If you'll notice in this visualization, there are 3 total visualizations that the system generated. In each case, this would be our profit, and this would be our sales visualization. So if you wanted to bring in each individual visualization from the OA assistant, it is completely possible. So in this case, we'll bring in our first one, and then the combination graph that was created. So the Oracle Analytics Assistant allows our users to ask questions of the system, generate visuals, and have the flexibility to allow Oracle Analytics to create your reports on the fly through an intuitive question and natural language query. So change chart to table, and you can take the existing visualization and change it according to your needs. For this purpose, I will go ahead and add this to our canvas, and I will go ahead and close this out. Looks like I duplicated it, so let's go ahead and delete that. So very quickly, you can see how between the last 20 or so minutes, by utilizing Oracle Analytics, AI, ML, the natural language query, and the augmentation using the large language learning model, we've created a very quick report that can dive into specific details of a column, details across your database or specific to questions that an end user would want. And again, these aren't a professional layout. We'll get into that as I move through and finish up the final workbook for this. But you can really see how the system itself can speed up this time to delivery for our end users when they're creating dashboards and reports for the various businesses. Before I leave Oracle Analytics, typical use case of dragging and dropping. So if an end user wants to look at sales based on the product category and let's say order date, this is that intuitive drag and drop capability that I mentioned in the agenda. So Oracle Analytics, by dragging and dropping these 3 values to the canvas, creates an auto visualization. It's determining based on the fact that this is one measure, one attribute, and a timestamp that a line graph is preferred. In this case, looking at this at a day by day is probably not beneficial because it's an overload of information. So if we want to get trending information, drill through the time dimension, drill up to the quarter level, and we can see how sales is performing across our quarterly information. If we wanted, we can very quickly trellis this on rows to pull out each individual line, whatever the preferred measure is or preferred action by the user. And very quickly, we can go ahead and add our trend line by utilizing Oracle Analytics to develop the trend line with the augmented analytics, or do one-click time series forecast. So right now, the system is analyzing the information that is across our product category and our sales, and now it's creating a time series forecast. In this case, if we look at our forecast, we're looking at the next 3 quarters because we did our time series based on our quarterly information. But if you chose, you could expand this out to any number that you prefer, pushing this period to the next 5 quarters, narrowing it down to 1 quarter, or changing this to a yearly measure if you want. So you can adjust the time series according to the business need or the reporting need. For real estate purposes of demo, I'm just going to pull out the trellis, return this to a single visualization so we have all 3 lines within this visualization in a single represented line graph. Oracle Analytics allows the end user to create additional calculations. So I'm going to create a very basic calculation of profit ratio. This is elementary. It's not an accurate representation of true profit ratio, but the flexibility of an end user to go ahead and create their own calculated measures that can be reported on can be done within Oracle Analytics. I'm just going to quickly validate this and save it. And like before, when I dragged profit by ratio onto the previous canvas, profit ratio is now able to be utilized when we're looking at any other visuals that we're creating within Oracle Analytics. In this case, I want to create a scatter plot based on our profit ratio and sales. I'm going to go ahead, change our axis, and to make this a little more understandable, why don't we go ahead and color this scatter plot by profit ratio and change our sales size so it can be interpreted and read by the end user much quicker, where we can now see our profit ratio is the highest in Albany, but our sales are the highest within Hong Kong. One of the features that I had mentioned within our agenda was the idea of natural language generation. So very quickly, if I duplicate these 2 visualizations to have them in sync, I can change our visualization from the line chart to our narrative, which is where Oracle Analytics takes our information that has been represented in a visual and creates a natural language output of what is rendered. In this case, we can see we have a breakdown and we have trend information. And one of the pieces that differentiates Oracle Analytics from our competitors is our natural language is completely dynamic. So if I were to focus maybe our sales on corporate and home office, you can see that not only are visualizations being changed, including our trend and forecast, but our natural language is also adjusting. So this is something that is dynamic and built into Oracle Analytics, utilizing that underlying augmentation that we have within OAC. I do make a call out to the dynamics. I know the viewers today have seen that these changed on the fly, but this includes calculated fields that the system is showcasing. So if you'll focus on some of these percentages that exist within our sales profit ratio natural language, if I were to clear out all of these filters, you'll notice that the calculations that exist within our profit ratio breakdown is also filtering. So we went from, I believe, 14% to 16.2 with some of the averages, because again, this is dynamic, it's filterable, and our calculated measures are being returned within our natural language. I am going to go ahead and save this to my folder. This can be shared to shared folders for the OAC users. If you have Active Directory or LDAP authentication enabled, those permissions can be brought into Oracle Analytics Cloud, and proper permissions can be set to various folders. So maybe specific users can't see a report based on sales and profit, or if you're working within HR, you can have proper permissions to prevent users that aren't within the HR group to not see or see various reports that are created. I am saving this as our cloud developer report, and I will now showcase art of the possible, I guess, if you will, from this data set to at least allow the users to see what is possible when building out a report with more refined time than today's webinar. So, when you take the time and you take the formatting, you can go ahead out and build very visually appealing reports within Oracle Analytics Cloud. Full dynamic filtering, of course, is still enabled. And this is just more of an art of a possible when time is taken to build something for your executive, your C-levels, or just natural reporting within a specific organization. All right, so right now, again, we had showcased authoring a report. I do want to stop sharing here briefly so I can jump into the mobile application to showcase the ability to share and view various reports from the application, and also highlight that podcast capability. So I should be starting my broadcast. I'm going to unmute the sound, and I will start sharing the Oracle Analytics. Get rid of my face here. And once I refresh this, we should go ahead and see that report that I just built. Here's our cloud developer report. And if I right click and say, listen to podcast.
The data compares sales with profit for a total of 132 cities. Focus on sales.
I'm going to pause that real quick. But as you can see, it opens up the application and starts reading the first report within Oracle Analytics that we selected. So if I scroll down, maybe we grab.
The data compares sales with profit across the OR date quarter, range of Q4 2019 Q2 2016. The two measures show a different profile. Sales widely varies, whereas profit shows two outliers, Q4 2018 and Q4 2016, when the numbers were significantly different than the general trend. The two.
I'll just pause that real quick. So as you can see, as you make a selection, it will start creating a podcast for each individual one on the fly. I'll select one more.
The data shows sales by product category across the OR date quarter, quarter, range of Q4 2019 Q2 2016. Overall trend sales fluctuated, oscillating between 257,950 and 1,012,866. An interesting fact is that the maximum value in sales was attained in Q4 2019 at 1,012,866.
So as you can see, there's different highlights that were created within the Oracle Analytics podcast capability. There was key points that were being showed or at least listed and callouts that were being made. There were key facts, key points of interest that were being pulled from this visualization on the last one that I showed. So it's a very robust podcast capability and can be utilized for reports on the go. Interesting feature, again, utilizing the AI ML in the underlying system to create those podcasts on the fly and allow users to consume reports when they're either traveling or, driving to work. Sometimes you got to get that piece of information before you come into your meeting. What I want to showcase at the end here before we kick it over to Christian to discuss the Code Innovate is the cool innovations that can be enabled with Oracle Analytics Cloud. So there is a way to innovate with third-party applications, Story Exchange or Synthia AI Avatar. And what I want to showcase is something that was done at the Oracle Bake Off or the Gartner Bake Off, if you will. And what this is our product management team showcasing Oracle Analytics being integrated to Synthia to use an AI avatar. So think of this as another way to consume your information in an audible or podcast type of report. And we'll just jump into it. It's about a minute and a half where this report will specifically be enabled to have an avatar with Synthia AI to read it back in key points within Oracle Analytics.
With Oracle Analytics pioneering an open exchange format, it means that we will soon be able to support a huge range of rich outputs. We're going to be publishing the Story Exchange format to interface with a multitude of generative cloud services, and we've already started working on these. Here, I can export the data story as a storyboard of generated vises and NLG, which I can edit to the context that I want. So let's share the story payload with one of our partners, Synthesia, to generate an analytics newscast delivered by an AI avatar.
Welcome to your Oracle Analytics update as of March 12, 2024. Let's start by looking at health expenditure per capita across these 36 countries. On average, the yearly expenditure is $3,866. What stands out is that the US spends far more with the health expenditures of over $10,000 per person. Switzerland, Norway and Germany are the next three in terms of health expenditure, with $6,232 on average.
So that was an idea of what is capable when you take Oracle Analytics, the generative AI that can be created and curated within the application, and then partner it or integrate it with third party. Again, this was highlighted at our Gartner Analytics Bake Off. There is a link directly to the Bake Off in this PowerPoint that will be generated and provided as a follow-up. So I would, if you're interested in the power of and where we're going with some of our AI and integrations with third party and see how we're comparing against other platforms, please take a look at the link in the Bake Off and ultimately come back with us and reach out and see if we can provide any further insights or help along the way. That being said, that wraps up my portion today. I do want to kick this over to Christian.
So hey everybody, my name is Christian Arredondo. I am a program manager on the Code Innovate team and wanted to give y'all a high-level overview of the Oracle Code Innovate program. So a little bit of backstory on the program. So how this came about is our manager takes his family to Legoland, or used to take his family to Legoland once a year, and one of their favorite activities was this Master Builder class. And so in this class, the concept was you walked in, you were handed a bag of disassembled Legos, and these master builders, who you can see in the green shirt to the right, would go around and show you how to utilize these pieces to build an end product. So what we've done with Code Innovate is we've created a virtual Code Innovate. How that functions is it is a 5 half-day online event, and in that event, it's hands-on introduction to the cloud. So you'll be working with our engineers who will be guiding you. You'll be hands-on keyboard with them teaching you best practices, um, giving you knowledge about the services you're utilizing, and that allows for that rapid knowledge sharing. So you're not working through white pages on your own, looking through documentation. You're working in tandem with our engineers to build out a final, what we call a first pass prototype. So this functions by us utilizing use cases that you and your team bring to us. We discuss these with you. We go through the discovery process. We walk you through any demos or what we call structured learnings to ensure that you are familiar with the services. And then that culminates in that week-long event. There's no cost to you if the minimum requirements are met. And the requirements we ask is if you are interested in this, we just ask that you bring 4 or more developers. We say developers, but this does not necessarily need to be technical individuals. These can be business users. Um, that allows for insights into your use cases and that better knowledge transfer through the team. We do ask that you commit to that 20-hour work week, so that 5 half-day week. We do ask that you bring use cases of your own, what you're looking at internally if you're wanting to utilize new services within Oracle Cloud, learn more and build on top of that. And then we do ask for a 3-week lead time. That allows us to do our discovery, work with you and team, get you up to speed, and do any tendency configuration you may require. If this is something that interests you, feel free to email us at this codeinnovate_us_group@oracle.com, or you can enter your emails in the Zoom chat and we'll collect those and we can reach out to you at a later time. So I can leave this up for a moment, and then Aaron, I believe I'll pass it back to you to start wrapping things up for Q&A.
Thank you so much, Rob, and again to you, Christian. Folks, if you found this demo helpful, if you found this Rob's demo informative, we have other events just like this, other developer coaching events. Go ahead, scan that QR code, and while you're there, let us know what worked for you here, and let us know what you want to know more about. Is it AI? Is it open source? Is it LLM? Is it database? Let us know. Uh, Otherwise, we will be sending a video of the demo portion of today's webinar to you shortly so you can rewatch and maybe follow along with what Rob was doing. And one last quick plug, on December 4th, we're going to be looking at Apex, a low-code solution, and how you can use AI to make sure your apps, your mission-critical apps, are super secure. So that's on December 4th. Go ahead and scan that QR code to register. And with that, folks, thank you again for joining us. We hope you found this webinar helpful. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Christian. Thank you to everyone who was answering questions in the Zoom Q&A feature. And until next time, be well.